So good morning, students. Today we are going to study a data structure known as queue, a queue data structure. Okay. So basically, we have always seen throughout our lives what is a queue. Okay. So there's an example of a queue in the picture that has been shown to you. Okay. People are standing in front of a travel counter in a queue. So basically, this is what we have known a queue for throughout our lives. We have known that a queue means a group of people standing in some orderly fashion to achieve to get some work done, okay, or to get something. So this is what we knew as the meaning of a queue. But in data structures, also we have a data structure called as queue. Okay. So what is the queue and what are the operations possible on a queue and what is the main property of a queue we'll study today. Okay. In the next lecture, in the next online lecture, I will teach you a program on queues. So today we are only going to study the concept of a queue. So let's see what is the definition. So basically, a queue is a list with the restrictions that insertions are done at one end and deletions are done at the other end. Okay. So basically, a queue is having of the property called as FIFO. Okay, FIFO, which means first in, first out. Okay. So as you know, if you are standing in a queue to buy a movie ticket, okay, the first person to come to the queue is the first person to get out of the queue. The first person in the queue is the first person out of the queue. So like you can see in the diagram here, this girl with the books is at the front of the queue. Okay, she will obviously get or do her work first. She's come here to do some payment, so she will do her payment and move out of the queue. Okay, then the second boy in the gray t-shirt, he will be the next one to do the payment and then he will move out of the queue. So the first person in is the first person out. So this is the major difference with stack. In stack, what would have been? Last person to enter would have been the first to get out. So if this was a stack, then the boy in the white or the girl, I don't know what it is, but it looks like a boy. So the boy in the white t-shirt would have been the first person out if it was a stack. But since this is the queue, the first person in is the first person out. Okay, please remember this. So elements are stored in order of insertion. Okay, so the first person to come in is the first person to be stored in the array. Suppose they're implementing an array. So there are two operations that are possible on the queue. So two pointers will be maintained always. Okay, one will be pointing to the front of the queue and one will be pointing to the end of the queue. So the end of the queue is known as the rear. Okay, REAR, rear stands for the end of the queue, and the front of the queue. So two pointers will be always present in a queue. Okay, rear and front. So front points to the first person or the first element of the queue, and rear points to the last person or the last element of the queue. So just like I told you, queues have two ends, front and rear. Okay, now elements are added at one end, okay, and elements are removed at the other end. So element that is added first is also removed first. Okay. So these are the operations that are possible in a queue, NQ and DQ. Just like in a stack we had push and pop, like that. Inserting an item in the queue is known as NQ and removing an item from the queue is known as DQ. Now this is not like you can also say insert in a queue, delete from a queue. Okay, so this need not worry. Like if you don't remember these names, you can say insert. Insert also means you are adding an item to the queue, and delete also means you are dequeuing from your queue. Okay, so don't worry. If you can remember these names, it's good because you're a computer engineering students and you're studying. So NQ means adding an item, and DQ means removing an item from the queue. So if you're performing an insert operation, These are the parameters you are basically going to pass to a NQ function. Okay, Q, rare, front, N, and item. Okay, Q is the place where you're going to store the data. Like Q could be an array. Okay, rare represents the location where the item is to be inserted. Okay, front is the location where the item is to be removed. N is the size of your data structure or the queue. Okay, whatever the maximum size of the queue. Like in stacks, last time when we were learning program, we had defined a stack of size 5. So like that, similarly, N will define the size of your queue. An item is the data that you're going to store on the queue. Okay. So this is a pseudo code if you're going to implement a NQ function. Basically, just like your push function, okay, what you're going to do is, if your queue is full, okay, this will be the condition to check for the rare value. The value of rare will be equal to n minus 1. Okay, so if your queue is full, this condition will be true. So that time you will print that a queue has overflowed, similar to your stacks. Okay, if your queue is full and you try to still insert or NQ, then we will call it as queue overflow. Okay, queue is already filled. That time the condition to check for will be this, rare equal to n minus 1. If queue is not full, then what you will do, increment the value of rare by 1. Okay, and then insert the item into the queue. Additionally, if the value of front is equal to -1, you will set front equal to 0. Okay, so just try to remember this if you can. If you can't remember, it's fine. I will show you the code anyways later on. Okay, the program. So main thing that you need to remember is, when you're doing the insert operation or the NQ operation, what are the 2 steps that you need to do? Okay, so first, increment the value of rare. So rare value will be incremented by 1. Okay, second step, you're going to store the value in the queue wherever rare is pointing. So the data is stored in this variable item. So these are the 2 main steps that you are going to perform most of the times. Okay, so these other steps, step 4 and 5 and step 1, you're going to do only in special situations. Okay, so most of the times you're going to do step 2 and 3. So step 2 and 3 I've written here. First step is, step 2 is rare equal to rare plus 1, and then this third step is you store the item in the queue. Okay, you can note down in your book somewhere these 2 things and keep is good. Okay, because we'll do one example later. So let's do one example here. Okay, so you just if possible, you note down this. I hope you are sitting with your books. Note down these 2 steps at least, second and the third step. Okay, short form you can just note down and keep. So we are implementing in this example a queue as an array. Okay, just like we saw a stack as an using arrays, so we are implementing queues using arrays. So when we are implementing queues using arrays, okay, let me repeat this. We have said that there are 2 pointers, front and rear. Okay, where we said front is pointing to the front of the queue. Okay, first element of the queue. Front is basically pointing to the first element of the queue first, and rear is pointing to the last element of your queue, last element in your queue. So you may be having a queue of size 100. Okay, suppose this queue is of size 100, but presently there may be only 4 elements. Okay, so the value of rear will be pointing to your 4th element in that case. So whichever element is present in the queue, it will be pointing to the last, and front will be pointing to the first. Okay, so keep this in mind as we are doing the NQ and the DQ. So let me write your NQ two main steps here. R equal to R plus 1. Okay. QR equal to item. So initially when the queue is empty, okay, you are going to assume that value of front and value of rear is equal to -1. Okay. So when queue is empty, both these pointers F and R, front and rear, the value is equal to -1. Okay. So the first operation that we want to perform is NQ23. That is, we are going to try to insert 23 into the queue. Okay. So instead of tracing this entire code, I will just show you the simple code first. Okay. That is, we are doing only step 2 and 3. Okay. And maybe 4. Okay. So when we are enqueuing 23, first step, okay, what we will do is increment the value of rear. Okay. So rear is equal to, initially it was equal to -1. So rear -1 plus 1, rear value will become equal to 0. Okay. Rear value is equal to 0. So therefore rear is now no longer -1, but rear value is equal to 0. Okay. It is pointing here. Okay. Then in the second step, I place the data. Okay. What is the data that I'm storing? 23 in the place where rear is present. So where rear is present? At 0. Okay. So this R is replaced by 0. So in the index 0 of this array, okay, suppose we are calling that array as Q, then in the index 0 of that array, we are storing 23. Okay. Now, what we had said in this diagram when we had studied was, okay, if you remember, that ray will be pointing to your last element. Okay. Here we have said ray is pointing to your last element. Now we are having only one element in the queue, that is 23. So ray is pointing there. Ray is the pointing to that one element because it is the last element. Also, it is the first element. Since it is the only element in the queue, it is also the first element. It is the first element, also the last element. Because it is last element, rear is already pointing there. Okay, it is having the pointing to the index 0 where 23 is stored. But front is not pointing here. Is front pointing? No. So we need to make it point to this index 0 where 23 is stored. So how we do that? Using this code here. Okay. We check if the value of front is equal to -1. Okay. So here you can see value of front is equal to -1. So it is true. If it is true, what we do? We make front equal to 0. Okay. So that means now front also is having the value 0. Okay. So it is pointing to the location in the or the index of your array where 23 is stored. Are you getting what I'm trying to tell you? So because 23 is stored here now and it is the first element. See, there are no more elements in the queue. It is the first element. Therefore, front also has to point to this first element because front always points to the first element, and rear also has to point to this element. Why? Because rear always points to the last element. Since there are no more elements in this queue, this element here, that is 23, is the first one and also the last one. So therefore, in this case, both these pointers, front and rear, will be having this value index equal to 0. Okay. So that means they are at this element of index, that is 23. Okay. So element 23 is having the index 0. Is it clear why front and rear are both present here? Just let me know. in the chat. Did you all get it? All 56 of you? Just let me know quickly. We can continue. There are 56 of you all, so I want answers from the others. I can repeat it if you're not understanding. Okay, fine. You all have got it. Okay, so let's continue. So this is the situation now. Okay, so now if I ask you from this diagram, what is value of front? Then you will say the answer is 0. Okay, value of front is 0. Whatever is the value of the index, that is the value of front. What is the value of rear? You will say it is 0. And if this array name is Q, if I ask you what is the value of Q, and this is the array symbol QR. Okay, Q rear. Let me write here rear. Q rear. What is the value of Q rear? Then the answer is 23. Okay, whatever stored inside this is the answer here, 23. If I ask you what is the value of rear, answer is 0. What is value of front? Answer is 0. What is Q rear? Answer is 23. What is Q front? Answer is 23. Okay, please remember this. I'm just revising a little part of your arrays. Okay, going to the next step here. We are trying to insert now 9. Okay, so when we are inserting 9, what we will do? We will increment rear by 1. Okay, rear by 1. So now rear from 0, it will come to the index 1. Okay, only rear will be shifted. Okay, and you're going to store the item at the wherever rear is present in the queue. Okay, so rear is present at index 1. So the item that you're inserting will be stored at that index 1. So 9 will be stored at index 1. Okay, so rear will be inserted. Rear will be at index 1 and 9 will be present here. Okay, so now I will ask you one question. What is value of Q front? You can write your answers in the chat. Q front. What is the value of Q front in this diagram now? Q front, what is the value in this diagram? What is the value of Q front? Yeah, correct. What is value of Q rear? What is value of Q rear? What is the value of Q rear? Nine. Okay, good. Yes. Okay. So now, always remember, whenever you're doing insert operation, okay, you're going to only insert at the rear. You're going to do insert operation only using this pointer. Okay, only using this pointer, except in one case. In that one case is when the queue is empty. So when the queue is empty, obviously you're going to insert using rear. Okay, insertion is always done using rear, but you need to set the front pointer also. Okay, you need to set the front pointer also, because this element is the last element and also the first element. Okay, so insertion in a queue is always done at the end of the queue. Okay, as we can see in this diagram that I showed you at the beginning. If a new person had to enter this queue, a new person had to enter the queue, you would increment this pointer, rear pointer, by 1. Okay, and the new person would have got added to your queue here. Okay, one more person joins the queue. You're not going to allow one more person who's walking through to come and stand here, right? You're not going to allow in real life also. Okay, you're going to stand there for 1 hour in the queue for your tickets. You're not going to allow for another person to just come and join the queue at the front, right? You're only going to tell him, please stand in the queue and join at the end. Okay, so you're not going to allow anyone to join at the front. So insertion in a queue is always done at the end. Okay, and the end is known as the rear in our case. please remember, you all always get confused. Every year people get confused where the insertion is done. The insertion is only done at the end. Always think of a queue. You're standing in the queue, you're the first person in the queue. Will you allow one person to join in front of you, or will tell that person to go and stand at the end? Okay. Most always, I hope you all are those 99% when you are studying data structures. So you remember, rare is where you're going to insert, okay, and front is where the first person buys the ticket or buys the item and leaves the queue. Okay, so front is where the deletion happens or the DQ happens, and rare is where the insertion happens or the NQ happens. Okay, remember that. In real life, if some senior citizen comes, then you can always allow a person in front of you. Okay, I'm not saying you follow your data structures principle there. Okay, so next operation, if I'm going to do NQ777, okay, then again we increment rare. So value of rare was 1, so rare will be now 2. Okay, and 777 will be inserted at rare. So all insertions always happen using the pointer rare. Okay, again I'm inserting 462, increment rare, so from 2 it will become 3. Okay, insert 462 there. Again you NQ 300, increment rare. Okay, so rare will become 4 and you insert 300 there. Okay, so this is how your NQ works, always using this pointer rare. Okay, NQ means you're going to work with this pointer rare. Okay, insert at the end of the queue. You're going to insert always at the end of the queue. Okay, you're never going to insert at the front. Any doubts about this diagram that you have? I have explained the NQ operation. You can let me know. I'll look at the chat box. Anyone has any doubt about the NQ operation? Just let me know. NQ operation. You can look at the diagram. Did you all understand every operation that we did? I tried to show you 4-5 steps. All are doing NQ. Anyone has any doubt? Okay, let me continue then. If you're having doubt, you can type. Okay, now the problem is when your queue is full. Okay, like you saw in your last step, the queue is become full. Okay, front is pointing to the first element that you inserted, 23. Okay, and rare is pointing to your last element that you inserted, that is 300. Okay, now your queue is full. What if you try to insert one more item? You try to NQ 88. Okay, so in that case, just like your stacks, this condition is known as a queue overflow condition. Okay, so again you need some way of checking that this has happened. Okay, so for that we have written this code here, wherein if value of rare is equal to n minus 1, then we will say, we'll print some message as queue overflow, and we will not execute this rest of the code. We will exit the function from there. Okay, we'll exit the function, we'll return back from that function. The condition to check queue overflow is this, like I told you before, rare equal to n minus 1. We'll see the program later. Okay, so let's continue. Similarly, dequeue is your operation to delete items from your queue. You can call it as dequeue, you can call it as delete queue, like I told you before, whatever function name you want to give. Okay, and the parameters for that will be queue, which is your array where you're going to do the deletion, your pointer to pointing to the front of the queue, that is called as front, your pointer pointing to the end of the queue, that is called rare, and this is the item that you're going to delete. Okay, or this will store the deleted item. Basically, item will contain whatever value you are deleting from the queue. So this is the code that we are going to use for deletion. So I told you always deletion happens from the front. Okay, deletion always happens from the front of the queue. The person standing at front is the first person to move out. That means you can think that he is deleted from the queue, kind of. Okay. So in your queue delete function, these are the two main steps. Okay, steps 2 and 3. The first, what you will do, whatever value is stored in the wherever front is pointing or where front is present at that index, that value will be extracted from the array and will be stored in this variable item. Okay, once you have deleted that or you have stored that value in this item, what you will do, you will increment the value of front. Okay, so the front points to the next element now, which is at the new first element. Okay, this first and the fourth condition when we will use, we'll see later. Okay, so right now we'll just concentrate on step 2 and 3. So let's take one example. So I'm taking that same example that we had taken during NQ, okay, where the queue had become full. Okay, so this same example I'm taking, and we are starting with the deletion. Now, just for your explanation, for your understanding, I've done NQ continuously here, and here I'm doing DQ. Okay, but when you're doing your program later on, you need not do NQ and DQ in this manner. You can do in whatever way your application requires. So you can do 1 NQ, 2 DQs, or like that. Okay, just for example, you can do 5 NQs and then 3 DQs, again more 4 NQs or 2 DQs. It depends on your application. So here, this is your existing value of front. Value of front is 0. Value of rear is 4. Okay. So front is basically pointing to the element 23. Okay. And rear is pointing to the element 300. This is your first element in the queue, and this is your last element in the queue. Okay. Rear always points to the last. Front always points to the first. So when you're doing deletion, you're going to always delete the first item. Okay, deletion means you're always deleting the first item. I keep on repeating this, so I don't want anyone to be confused. Deletion means first, insertion means from the end, that is rear. So we are going to delete this item 23. Okay, so the step for that is I'm going to extract this value, okay, which is there in this pointed by this index front. So front value is 0. So what will happen? Q of 0. This front value will be replaced by 0. So Q of 0. What is present at Q of 0? At Q of 0, 23 is present. Okay, 23 is present. So that 23 you extract and store in this variable item. You extract and store in this variable item 23. Okay. Once you have done that, what you will do? Increase the value of your front. So you will increase your value of front. So initially your front value was 0. So now 0 plus 1, it will become equal to 1. Okay. So therefore, front will be now pointing to the index 1. You can see here, after you have done one DQ operation, okay, this 23 is deleted. Okay, 23 is not there, and your front gets shifted to the next index. You increment it by 1, so front will come here. Okay, as you can see in the diagram also. Okay, as you can see, after you have deleted 23, after you have deleted this 23, which is your new first element in the queue, the new first element in your queue is 9. Okay, this 9 was inserted before all these other elements, right? So therefore front should be pointing to 9. So therefore front is having this value as 1, okay, which is the index of this element 9. Okay, and rear keeps pointing here. We do not change rear. This is still the last element, so therefore rear remains there. We do not touch rear. Okay, so deletions are always done using just one pointer, which is front. Again, if I do DQ, what will happen? I remove now 9. Okay, I remove 9, and front gets shifted to the next index. So front will come to the index 2. Again, I do DQ 777. This will be deleted. Okay, and front will go to the next element. So front will come to the index 3. Again I did DQ, 462 will be deleted and front will go to the next element 4. Okay, again I do DQ. Okay, again I do DQ, then this will become equal, this will be deleted. Okay, then now as you can see here, when 300 gets deleted, okay, what happens to your queue? Queue becomes empty. Okay, when 300 gets deleted, your queue becomes empty. When your queue is empty, the value of your front and rear should be reinitialized. Okay, it should be reinitialized. If you remember here in this diagram here, I told you when your queue was empty, what is the value of your front and rear? If you remember, can you tell me in your chat box? When the queue was empty, when we are doing the insert operation, what was the value of your front and rear? Value of your front and rear was -1. Correct. Value of your front and rear was -1. Okay. So now when you're doing a delete also, when you're doing a delete operation, okay, we are come back to the same situation. Okay, we are come back to the same situation where your queue has become now empty. Okay, so whenever your queue is empty, your value of your front and rear should be equal to -1. Okay, value of your front and rear should be equal to -1. So here, after deleting 300, since your queue is become empty, okay, like you can see in this diagram here, it shows in this diagram. So therefore, you need to reinitialize your value of front and rear equal to -1. Okay, now you need to put one if condition here. If something happens, how will you check that your queue is going to become empty? How will you check that your queue will become empty? Can anyone tell me? How will you check? See, you will come to know that your queue is becoming empty based on this diagram here. Okay, from this diagram, this is your second last diagram, this one. Okay, from this diagram it becomes empty. Okay, so when it becomes empty, we need our front and rear values equal to -1. Okay, but when you're writing a code, you need some way of telling your compiler that your queue is become empty. Okay, so you need to put a if condition. If this thing is true, that means my queue is empty. Therefore, make front equal to rear equal to -1. So what is this condition that will tell me that my queue is becoming empty? That I'm deleting my last element here, which was 300. What is it that will tell me? What is that I should put here? Can anyone tell me? Just think. It is there in the diagram actually. It's all there in the diagram. If you can't get it also is fine. If you can get it, I'll be very happy. It's all there in the diagram. And if you had seen my code carefully in the previous slide, then it was there on the code also. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone guess what is that condition that should be coming there? Yes, correct. Correct. All of you are correct. Front is equal to rear. Okay. Front is equal to rear. You need to check for that condition. See here. Okay, for some reason this thing is not. 1 second. Okay. See here. In this slide, this is my diagram. From this state where there was one element, okay, only one element was left. Okay. From this state, we go to queue is empty. So if queue is becoming empty, then we are going to initialize these two pointers as front equal to rear equal to -1. Okay. Why? Because there is no element here. So front cannot point to anyone. Similarly, front rear also cannot point to anyone since there is no element there. So therefore, we make them as -1. Okay. But what condition will tell me that it has to be made -1 is this. Okay, you can see that just before your queue became empty, what was the value of your front and rear? Value of your front and rear was equal to 4. Okay, value of your front and rear here was equal to 4. Both had the same value. So therefore, I can put here if front is equal to rear, if front is equal to rear, and I'm doing a deletion, if I'm doing a deletion, that means after I do this deletion, the queue will become empty. Okay, if the queue is becoming empty, that means if this thing is true, front and rear is front is equal to rear, that means the queue will become empty the next step. So therefore, when it becomes empty, I need to initialize the value of front and rear equal to -1. Since front cannot point to the first element and rear cannot point to the last element, therefore it's best to make it as -1. Also, if you don't make it -1, then next time when you're doing our insert operation, it won't work, because insert operation is based on incrementing, right? We have said that insert works on this condition. So if you don't set rear equal to -1 when your queue is empty, then this will not work later on. So in order for a logic to work, when your queue becomes empty, you need to set your front and rear equal to -1. So that is done here in step 4. Okay, in step 4, we check here if the queue is going to become empty. Okay, the queue is going to become empty just before it becomes empty. Just before it becomes empty, when you're doing delete. Okay, when you're doing delete, just before the queue becomes empty, the value of front will be equal to rear. When that happens, you just do this, front equal to rear equal to -1, and then you exit the function. Is it clear? Okay, so that is what we will be doing when we are doing the actual code. Okay, did you all understand? Okay, so similar to your stack underflow, we are having queue underflow. Okay, so what is queue underflow? When you try to delete from a queue when the queue is empty. Okay, so that condition is checked here. Okay, so we just check if the value of front is equal to -1 when we are trying to delete. If the value of front is equal to -1 when we are trying to delete, then we will print queue underflow and then we will exit the function. There are two ways to implement a queue. One is using an array, just like I showed you in these diagrams. Okay, this was using arrays. And the similar thing we can do using linked list that we have already studied. Okay, so we can do it in two ways. So drawback of array implementation is just whatever are the drawbacks of your arrays is coming as drawbacks of queues. Okay, of array implementation of queues. So for example, memory wastage, because you need to declare your array size in advance. So like for example, in that stacks program, I declared a size of 100, but I was just using 5. So memory was getting wasted. Okay. Also, something like this could happen. Okay, like in this diagram, you can see here, I deleted 2 items. Okay, so therefore front is pointing here. Front is pointing to this index. Okay, and rear is pointing to this index. Now, suppose I want to insert one more element. I say NQ 900, say NQ 900. Can I do an NQ here? You can write your answers in the chat. Can I do an NQ here on this diagram? If I'm doing NQ operation here, can I do an NQ on this diagram? You can just draw these diagrams on your book. Quickly, I will change to the code, the NQ code, so that you can tell me whether you can do an NQ operation on this diagram. Okay, actually the answer is already given here. NQ cannot be done. Okay, why it cannot be done? Can you tell me? Look at this code and tell me why it cannot be done. Look at this code and tell me why the NQ cannot be done in that diagram? Can anyone try to answer? Anyone, raise your hand if you want to answer. Yeah, it should be a queue overflow condition. Okay. Okay, I just lost connection. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Yes. So yeah, basically, yeah, what you all are telling is correct. The answer, Q is already filled. Okay, it will come as Q is already filled. Okay. See, NQ operation, the two main steps are this. Okay, rare equal to rare plus one. Rare equal to rare plus one. After you do that, you're going to store that item. Okay. Let's see whether we can do these two steps. Rare equal to rare plus one, and then the next step will be to store that item. Okay. If you can't do those two steps, then obviously you cannot store that value. Okay. So when you come here, see, you try to do rare equal to rare plus 1. Okay. Rare is already present at your last index. Okay. Do you have any more portion of your array left? Do you have more array positions left? No. You don't have more array left. Okay. If you do rare equal to rare plus 1, you cannot go to index 5. There is no index 5. You have declared an array only of this size. Your queue is only of this size. Okay. So you cannot increment rare further to 5. You cannot increment. So therefore you cannot store. But do you have place in your array? Yes, you are having place in your array. This index 0 and index 1 is free. Okay, nothing is there here. Nothing is stored. Nothing is stored here. Okay, whatever was there was deleted, right? Because it is deleted, you are present at this index. Okay, front is pointing here because you have deleted. So therefore, this is the disadvantage of an array implementation of a queue. Okay, you may have place in your array to do insertion actually, but because of that logic that we are writing, you cannot increment rare and make it come back here. Okay, in this method of queue. Okay, you can do it in another method of queue known as circular queues. We'll come back to that later. Okay, there's another type of queue known as a circular queue. In that queue, when you do insert, you can come back from here and do an insertion here. Okay, but in today's queue that we are learning, we cannot do that in the code that we have just studied. Okay, so that is what I have written here, explanation. You can just read. So these are the main, or these are some of the examples of queues. Okay, so queue of print jobs sent to the printer. So, you can use your queues data structure in operating systems. Okay, queue of programs is running. Some data packets are sending. Okay, so most of these applications you may not understand because you have not learned this subject. Later on, you will understand. Okay, maybe if you are using a common printer, then maybe you would have understood. So you can store a queue of computations to be performed in order. Okay, so you're modeling and doing a model where there's a line of customers or clients. Okay, so in a real world example, like cars at a gas station. Okay, all the cars are waiting in a queue, or people on an escalator or waiting on a line. So all are waiting in some kind of a queue to get in or get out. Okay, queue is basically a first in first out data structure. You need to remember that.